Oh, women of the world, stop lying to yourselves. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 338. It is back, ladies and gentlemen. Twilight Saga Eclipse, the third installment of the Twilight franchise. This film is directed by David Slade, and it stars, the standards. Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, and Taylor Lautner. You also have Bryce Dallas Howard as a little new addition to this film. And Twilight Eclipse basically follows the same premise that's been going on for the past two chapters. It's about Bella, Jacob, Edward. She has to choose between the wimpy wolf or the overprotective and thoroughly controlling vampire. And she can't decide which. One's a really good friend, one she's kind of in love with, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. There's also a side plot involving these vampires called newborns that are kind of creating their own vampire army and are trying to get to Bella to kill her. And so the vampires and the werewolves, they team up, they join forces to defeat a greater evil, and Twilight Saga Eclipse ensues. I want to make 4 points right off the bat, just on the whole Twilight Saga series in general. My first point is that the series, on the whole, is boring. Yes, I said it. And I don't think that if I was a 14-year-old girl, I would feel any different. I feel that all of these characters and all of these conversations that go on throughout the movie are boring, and I don't think there's any sort of character development in any of these people. Not that there needs to be, but I think that the conversations that take place are very mundane and they're repetitive. I mean, if you watch New Moon and if you watch Eclipse, they are very similar in the way that they go about doing their things. Literally throughout the 2 hours of Eclipse, the constant conversations you hear are, Bella, I'm in love with you. I'm your best friend, but you don't see it yet, but you love me too. Bella, don't go see Jacob. He's not good for you. Marry me instead. Just marry me. To do, I mean, I like Edward, but I like Jacob too. Literally, that's 2 hours. My second point involves a line uttered by far the best character in the whole film, Charlie Swan, Bella's father, who says after breaking up a fight between Jacob and Edward, he says, guys, tone it down a notch. And that's how I feel about this entire series in general. I think it's fine that there's this romantic subplot, and sure, it's more catered towards the teenage female market, but I think when you have a movie about this teenager who's in love with a vampire and a werewolf, and they're getting together, it doesn't need to be as over-the-top serious and over-the-top melodramatic as these things are. I mean, the lines that ensue in this movie are so ridiculous. I mean, there's even a part where Edward talks about the top 10 evenings of his life, and he says, the dialogue that immediately follows that is Bella saying, you have a list? It's ridiculous. There's stuff involving Edward breaking Bella's car so she can't go see Jacob. It's too over the top, and it's too staring into each other's eyes and looking, cool and emo and gothic because we're vampires and werewolves. I've had enough of it, and it needs to be toned down a notch. My third point is that these films are designed for me to care about who Bella is going to end up with, either Edward or Jacob. And the fact of the matter is, I haven't read the books, I don't know what happens, I can assume what's going to happen, but I don't care. And I don't think that these films, namely Twilight Eclipse, are doing any better of a job than any of their previous ones on convincing me that I need to care about who Bella ends up with, why, and whether or not these characters are interesting. I don't think any of these people in this film, Jacob, Edward, or Bella, are interesting people at all. And I think because that lack of depth and just forfeiting any sort of character depth and just having them gaze into each other's eyes and lying in a field of wildflowers and having Jacob's shirt be off and having, Kristen Stewart punch him in the face because he tries to kiss her. That's not interesting to me, and it doesn't make for any engaging sort of romantic subplot to your film. Finally, women of the world, I told you this in my New Moon review, you deserve better, and I honestly think that you're lying to yourselves if you're sitting through Twilight Eclipse and you think that was a fantastic movie with no flaws at all, because I can just tell you from personal experience, sitting in the theater, there are people laughing at the screen, and it's happened more often than not, which brings me to a final little thing about Twilight Eclipse, which a lot of people have been saying, which is that in this film, yes, it's making fun of itself, more so than usual. There's lines involving Edward saying, you know, does he always not have a shirt? And there's stuff about Jacob referencing the fact that he's a werewolf and his body temperature is higher than Edward's, and him saying, let's face it, I'm hotter than you. Stuff like that. And I get that it's making fun of itself, but the problem to me is that it's making fun of itself on things that it already knows, that it's over the top and it's melodramatic and it's ridiculous. It's like, why not just fix those things instead of making fun of yourself for it? Sounds like an easy fixer-upper to me, but apparently it's not. If there's any things that are good or redeeming about Twilight Eclipse for me, as I said, I think Billy Burke as Charlie Swan is pretty fantastic with the role that he's given. And I think the fight sequence that takes place in the finale of the film between these vampires and werewolves is okay. It's a pretty decent little fight sequence. It's by far the best action sequence that I've seen in any of the Twilight sagas so far. And I think that it is pretty cool that apparently if you punch a vampire hard enough in the face, he shatters like glass, which I think is kind of a cool little thing. But everything else about this film, don't be fooled, guys of the world, if you saw the trailer and thought, hey, this looks like super action-packed. It's not. It's more of New Moon with just a little bit longer of an action sequence at the end. And I think the critics that are saying that this is the best of the three are also lying to themselves. It's really over the top, it's really cheesy. Taylor Lautner is a horrible actor, and I, for some reason, can't wait to see the fourth one. I don't know. I give Twilight Saga Eclipse a 1 out of 5. Women of the world, go rent Singing in the Rain. See what a romantic movie can really do for you. Make you laugh, make you cry, make you feel amazing. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another one for you.